For thousands of years, the Bible has been more than just a religious text. To many, it's a coded message, a map of the future hidden in plain sight. Throughout history, people have claimed to see prophecies coming alive. Wars, plagues, strange celestial events, and natural disasters. But something is different now. The signs that once appeared centuries apart are unfolding within our lifetimes, faster, louder, and closer together. In the past few years, the world has witnessed events that eerily echo ancient writings. Gigantic storms devastating communities across the United States, volcanic eruptions shaking the earth in places long thought dormant. Even in the frozen reaches of Russia, and sudden, unexplained changes in the waters of the Red Sea. For believers, these aren't random events. They are trumpet blasts, warning that humanity is approaching a critical turning point foretold thousands of years ago. For skeptics, they are coincidences, the inevitable chaos of an unpredictable planet. Yet, when you read the passages and compare them to today's headlines, the parallels are hard to ignore. In the book of Matthew, Jesus speaks of wars and rumors of wars, famines, and earthquakes in various places. The Old Testament describes the seas turning red and the sky darkening with storms. Are these just poetic metaphors? Or are they vivid descriptions of the very events we are seeing on our news feeds right now? In this series, we will explore the most chilling biblical prophecies, the modern-day events that appear to mirror them, and the possible outcomes if they continue to unfold. We will examine the mysterious connection between the ancient texts and our rapidly changing world, and ask the question no one dares to answer. Are we living through the final chapters of the prophecy? And if so, what comes next? The United States has always faced its share of storms, but in recent years, meteorologists have been stunned by their sheer intensity. Entire neighborhoods have been erased overnight by tornadoes that seem to appear from nowhere. Hurricanes have grown larger, slower, and far more destructive, as if fueled by an unseen hand. For many, these are simply the effects of climate change, rising ocean temperatures and shifting weather patterns. But for those who study biblical prophecy, there is something eerily familiar about these violent tempests. The book of Nahum speaks of God's power being revealed in whirlwinds and storms, with the clouds as the dust of his feet. Isaiah describes the Lord coming with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury. To believers, these aren't just poetic lines. They are vivid forecasts of a time when the skies themselves would rage against humanity. What makes this moment in history so unsettling is the timing. The frequency and intensity of these storms appear to be accelerating alongside other prophetic signs, as though they are part of a larger, orchestrated pattern. Some pastors warn their congregations that America's storms are not random. They are warnings, calls to turn back to moral and spiritual roots. Others argue that disasters are simply part of nature's cycle, but they can't explain why the patterns align so perfectly with ancient scriptures written thousands of years before satellites could track hurricanes. And as the storm clouds gather over the heartland, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Are these tempests nature's fury, or the first act in a prophecy we've been warned about for centuries? In the remote, frozen wilderness of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, something ancient is stirring. Towering volcanoes, some dormant for centuries, have roared back to life, hurling ash miles into the sky and painting the horizon blood red. To most geologists, this is an extraordinary but explainable event. Kamchatka sits on the volatile ring of fire, where the Earth's crust is restless and prone to violent eruptions. But to those who watch the unfolding of biblical prophecy, this fiery awakening feels like more than geology. It feels like an omen. The prophet Joel wrote, "I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke." In Revelation, the imagery is even more direct. Mountains burning with fire, casting destruction upon the earth. Could these ancient words be describing exactly what we are now seeing? Russia's volcanic belt has erupted before, But the timing now, alongside unprecedented storms, political instability, and strange celestial phenomena, has led some to believe these events are interconnected. Prophecy watchers point out that Scripture often uses the north as a symbolic direction from which judgment and transformation come. And Russia, lying in the far north from Israel's perspective, fits the description perfectly. The sheer power of these eruptions is staggering. Whole villages have been cloaked in darkness as ash blots out the sun. Rivers run black with volcanic debris, and satellite images reveal glowing scars on the Earth's surface, visible from space like wounds upon the planet. Is this just the Earth releasing pressure, or is it part of a sequence? A chain reaction of signs meant to wake us up before it's too late? The Red Sea has always been a place of legends. From the biblical story of Moses parting its waters to ancient maritime trade routes connecting distant civilizations. But in recent years, it has begun drawing attention for reasons that are far stranger than tourism or history books. Scientists and divers have reported unusual phenomena. Strange red discolorations in the water, sudden temperature spikes, and even the appearance of vast, unexplained whirlpools. While mainstream explanations point to algae blooms or geological activity, prophecy researchers see something deeper, a pattern that may align with ancient warnings. The Bible speaks of the sea turning to blood, an image both symbolic and terrifying. In the book of Exodus, this was one of the plagues visited upon Egypt. In Revelation, the prophecy intensifies. The second angel poured out his bowl into the sea, and it became like the blood of a dead man, and every living thing in the sea died. Some claim the recent blood-red waters, spotted not only in the Red Sea, but in connected waterways, could be early foreshocks of such an event. Even more unsettling are the seismic readings showing increased geological instability under the Red Sea floor. Could there be volcanic vents or deep fissures forming, preparing for a catastrophic release? Adding to the mystery is the geopolitical tension surrounding the Red Sea region. Wars, blockades, and political upheavals mirror the turbulent waters themselves. And just as prophecy often ties natural disasters with human conflict, the events here seem to blend both, creating a volatile convergence that feels biblical. Are these just isolated anomalies, or are they part of the unfolding puzzle? Signs that we are moving toward a moment described thousands of years ago? Across multiple states in the U.S., ordinary people have been looking up at the night sky and seeing something they can't explain, strange, pulsating lights that move in patterns unlike planes, satellites, or shooting stars. It began quietly. A few cell phone videos on social media showing bright orbs hovering silently above neighborhoods in Texas, Arizona, and the Midwest. Then, the sightings multiplied. Dozens of reports came in during just a few weeks, describing lights that shifted colors from white to crimson to deep blue, then vanished in an instant. Mainstream explanations range from drones to military exercises. Yet the sheer scale and synchronicity of these sightings have many wondering if something far bigger is happening. Prophecy watchers point to passages in the Gospel of Luke. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity. Could these unexplained aerial phenomena be part of that prediction? Or are they technological warnings, human-made, but meant to prepare us for something larger? Some researchers claim the lights often appear before extreme weather events. In at least 3 documented cases, unusual aerial lights were spotted in the days before massive storms hit. One in Texas, one in Oklahoma, and one in Kentucky. This correlation has sparked theories about geoengineering, secret energy weapons, or even supernatural portents. In biblical prophecy, the sky is often a stage for divine messages, from the guiding star of Bethlehem to apocalyptic visions of the heavens darkening. If the strange lights are indeed signs, then the question becomes, who or what is sending them and why now? In the remote wilderness of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, the ground has begun to rumble. Volcanoes that have slept for centuries are now spewing ash, fire, and molten rock into the sky. Scientists are concerned, but prophecy watchers are alarmed. Kamchatka is home to more than 300 volcanoes, but only about 30 are considered active. In the last year alone, activity has sharply increased. Massive ash clouds have reached heights of over 40,000 feet, disrupting flights and blanketing nearby towns in darkness at midday. Local residents describe the ash falling like snow, choking the air and turning rivers black. Some volcanologists suggest these eruptions are simply part of Earth's natural cycles, but others warn that the scale and frequency are unprecedented in modern history. They point to a potential domino effect, where one eruption could trigger geological instability across the Pacific Ring of Fire, potentially leading to catastrophic quakes and tsunamis. Biblical prophecy has long associated volcanic fire and earthquakes with divine judgment. The Book of Nahum describes mountains quaking and hills melting before the Lord's presence. Revelation speaks of hail and fire mixed with blood, thrown to the earth. What chills some researchers is the timing. These volcanic awakenings coincide with other unusual global phenomena. Massive storms in the US, rising seismic activity in Asia, and strange animal migrations. To believers, this is no coincidence. It's a sign that Earth is entering a period of upheaval foretold thousands of years ago. And if the prophecies are right, these fiery mountains are not just a natural event. They are the opening act in a far greater drama yet to unfold. In recent years, locals and tourists alike have witnessed a strange and unsettling sight along certain stretches of the Red Sea. The waters turning a deep, unnatural crimson. From the shores of Egypt to parts of Sudan and Saudi Arabia, eyewitnesses have described the scene as both beautiful and terrifying. Scientists have offered a range of explanations, from algae blooms known as red tide to high concentrations of certain minerals. These natural causes can certainly color the water, but the sheer intensity and sudden onset of these events have left many unconvinced. In some cases, the red hue has appeared overnight, without warning, and faded just as mysteriously. For prophecy watchers, the connection is chilling. In the Book of Exodus, the first plague brought upon Egypt turned the Nile into blood, killing the fish and making the water undrinkable. In Revelation, a similar judgment is described. The sea turned into blood like that of a dead man, and every living thing in the sea died. Some believe these modern events are a direct foreshadowing of those ancient warnings, a divine signal that the world is edging closer to apocalyptic times. Videos of the crimson waters have gone viral, sparking heated debates online between skeptics and believers. Adding to the mystery, these red tides often coincide with other extreme weather patterns in the region: sudden sandstorms, blistering heat waves, and unusual lightning storms over the desert. Whether this phenomenon is a quirk of nature or a sign from above, one thing is certain. When the sea turns red, it captures humanity's attention, just as it did thousands of years ago. And perhaps that's the point. The most unsettling aspect of biblical prophecy isn't just the individual events. It's the way they seem to trigger one another, like dominoes falling in perfect sequence. Across Scripture, disasters are often described not as isolated incidents, but as interconnected judgments, each one amplifying the impact of the last. In recent years, some researchers and prophecy interpreters have begun mapping modern crises against this ancient framework. They've noticed a disturbing pattern. Massive storms in the US are followed by geopolitical unrest. Volcanic eruptions coincide with economic collapses. Sudden environmental anomalies appear just before outbreaks of war. It's as though the Earth itself is part of a grand, divine timetable, one where each disaster sets the stage for the next. The recent US megastorm left millions without power, but it also disrupted food supply chains, which in turn drove up global grain prices. At the same time, volcanic ash clouds from Russia affected air travel and weather patterns in Europe, leading to a spike in political instability. For those who see the world through the lens of prophecy, these aren't random coincidences. They are signs of the birth pains described in the Gospels, where one calamity flows into another until the entire world is engulfed in chaos. Skeptics point to globalization and climate change as the real culprits, arguing that in a connected world, any disaster will naturally have far-reaching effects. But believers counter that the eerie precision of these sequences mirrors biblical timelines too closely to be ignored. If the chain reaction is real, then the events we are witnessing now might only be the opening moves, the first tremors before a global quake. And when that final domino falls, it could alter civilization forever. Throughout the Bible, the heavens are more than just a backdrop. They are a divine billboard, announcing warnings and promises to those who watch closely. Ancient prophets wrote of wonders in the heavens as harbingers of major shifts in human history. Blood-red moons, darkened suns, and strange alignments of stars were said to precede times of judgment or transformation. In recent years, the skies have delivered spectacles that even seasoned astronomers admit are rare. The phenomenon of the blood moon tetrad, for total lunar eclipses occurring in rapid succession, coincided eerily with major geopolitical shifts and rising global unrest. Some believe this is a direct echo of Joel 2 verse 31. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. But it isn't just eclipses. Reports of mysterious lights, sometimes moving in patterns that defy conventional explanations, have increased. Pilots have described glowing orbs at high altitudes. Ordinary people with smartphones capture streaks of light that vanish before scientific explanations can catch up. One of the most unsettling recent incidents took place over the Red Sea, where witnesses reported an unexplainable, pulsating light that hovered for nearly an hour before shooting upward and disappearing. For prophecy watchers, this event took on special meaning, as the Red Sea holds deep biblical symbolism, a site of divine intervention and judgment. Skeptics attribute these phenomena to satellites, military experiments, or atmospheric effects. Yet, for many, the timing and locations feel far too deliberate. The night sky is behaving like a storyteller, dropping hints in plain sight. If scripture is correct, these celestial signs are not random. They're part of a countdown. And each passing night brings us one step closer to whatever that final revelation will be. Every prophecy, every strange event, every shaking of the earth or flicker in the heavens may be leading to one final, undeniable moment. The Bible speaks of a time of trouble, unlike anything the world has seen. A convergence of disasters, upheavals, and revelations that will shake humanity to its core. From the sudden intensification of storms across the United States, to volcanic awakenings in Russia, to strange phenomena in the Red Sea, the pieces seem to be falling into place. Even those who once dismissed prophecy as superstition are beginning to ask unsettling questions. Could the ancient texts have been warning us all along? In the book of Matthew, Jesus speaks of the signs before the end. Nations rising against nations, earthquakes in diverse places, and the gospel being preached to all the world before the final chapter unfolds. Many believe we are now living in this exact prophetic window. The question is, will we listen? Will humanity recognize the warnings? Or will we continue rushing forward until the moment it's too late to turn back? Some see hope in these prophecies. If they are warnings, then they are also invitations, a chance to change course, to awaken spiritually before the final seal is broken. But make no mistake, if the convergence continues, the events we've seen so far will be nothing compared to what's coming. The Bible doesn't leave the ending ambiguous. It speaks of a decisive moment when history, as we know it, will be rewritten. The signs are here. The warnings are here. The clock is ticking,